Or should I sit down?
Right on that seat right there. I'm gonna leave my thoughts with this. It's hard for Brian not to say what he does when it's literally that's how people are acting, right? Like, there's no way, man. You have to be like, you can't be functional, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, either you're like on some like malicious shit or you're not functional. Like, how do you, like, is it a communication? Either it's like a, ugh, crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this recording. It's 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10/24/2025. I'm gonna be Director Brian Knight, San Andreas State Marshals, right hand side.
025. State Marshal Chris Peters.
We don't have Garrity in San Andreas, nor are there any formal charges being pressed against you, Bobby. But for the sake of...
What does Garrity mean?
Garrity is like... I wouldn't worry too much about it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to Mirandize you. At this time, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or do will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you by the state if one is available. Do you understand your rights as they've been read to you today?
Yes, sir.
For sake of clarity, anything here that you do say will be used for investigative internal matters and external, depending on the circumstances of the matter. With that said, and can it affect your employment? 100%.
Yes, sir.
With that in mind, do you wish to speak with us?
I can start from the beginning, sir.
Okay. Go right ahead. Actually, there's a couple preemptive questions I want to start with, and then I want to kind of like open the door for you to kind of give your take on everything.
Yes, sir.
All right. This recording is going to be very helpful because I think there's been a lot of discrepancies in some of your past statements that I'd like to go over. So
Yes,
let me
sir.
ask some very like directed questions to begin. Firstly, is it correct to say we spoke at the new center?
Correct.
Is it correct to say that I asked you at the end of it to write a statement for me?
Correct.
At the end of that, were you suspended pending investigation?
I didn't hear it clearly, but it was inferred throughout conversation. So I'd say yes.
Which part was inferred?
Well, I just don't completely recall, but I do recall everything being, asked or relieved from my person. So I'm gonna say it's correct. As I don't recall you saying it.
That you were suspended for 48 hours?
I don't remember you saying it, but by the actions that I was asked to perform, that's what I mean by inferred. The relieving of keys and stowing thing.
So you didn't. Okay. So you knew you were effectively
entirely.
I got you. No, I understand that. I appreciate it. I mean, it happens, right? But did you recognize you were suspended?
I recognize. I couldn't confirm that I heard it, which was the question. So I just wanted.
I understand. Okay. Did you know that it was 48 hours? I mean, I'm presuming so since you arrived 48 hours later.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're on autopilot in traffic, and like you saw a green light, but you like think about it and you're like, did I see a green light? Was it red? It's one of those things where I can't 100% confirm, but I
Mhm.
do recall being suspended, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Give me a second. Um. All right. Were you Echo? About roughly 3 days ago, there was a situation that transpired with Gunnar Kane, Nora, Frank, Chris, Tony Tinkleman. Were you present in that situation?
If you're referring to the coastal docks, that's correct.
Yeah, the one like in Grapeseed, Polito area, right?
Yeah, it's like close to the lighthouse.
Okay. Were you dressed up as like a robot and talking with a modulator?
Correct.
Did you present yourself as Echo?
Correct.
Okay. Prior to that, did you have any meetups involving other individuals from the Marshals outside of Marshal gear? Specifically, blacking out with code names.
No, sir.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Huh. So let's talk about the coastal situation. I want you to go ahead and narrate it for me. And I do have your written statement here as well.
Yes, sir. At LSIA, I'd assume sometime around the time frame I mentioned, which was the 6th to the 9th, I received an anonymous ping at that location, which was closer to like the western entrance of, I guess, like private parking or just, the parking lot. I went inside the gate and searched the area, and there were 3 individuals there. One of them talked and addressed himself as Echo, and the 2 other people there were like bodyguards or henchmen, similarly dressed but different masks. And they both had automatic weaponry. And they described basically my skill set. They were knowledgeable of it. The only people I've shared this skill set with are likely mindlessly a couple people in the LSPD just in conversation, but primarily just the marshals and maybe 1 or 2 EMS. After he made that clear on my skill set, he requested me to make a book, which was the book that was handed over to you, I believe, 2 days ago. And he showed me 2 pieces of paper with drawings and illustrations as to what I should represent on that paper. I wasn't handed anything or given anything, so I had to go off my own, I guess, creative volition. After that, I was told to meet with people at a date.
When was that day? When did that happen?
I gave a time frame in the statement, but I don't have an exact day, sir. I don't recall the exact day because that was
Okay, so we had the boathouse situation, right? The one by the lighthouse, right? How many days prior to this did this occur?
many days
roughly?
prior? Say like 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. It
Okay.
was sometime before I went on LOA, which I told you about. I went to Liberty City, New York. I'm not sure if you recall me telling you that. And
Mm-hmm. I remember.
After he gave the instructions on the book, he told me
Is this
that
the
at some
day
point,
that you met this guy that you claim is Echo, and he had
correct,
2 individuals with him with Class 2 firearms?
correct, sir.
Okay. And just for clarity, what precisely brought you there?
I never receive anonymous pings, and I try to be a resourceful individual and go to matters that I think could be
Yeah,
sensitive or involve my job.
understandable. You followed a anonymous ping. And when you arrived, were they already present?
Not to like, I didn't see them immediately. They approached me. When I mentioned that I was searching the area, that's essentially what I found was them. I didn't have
Okay.
time to
Other
flee.
than them, what else, to restate, what else did you see?
There were footprints along a fence. And then after I was kind of like cornered in, that's when they like turned a corner behind me. And then that's when I saw them.
Were there any other individuals there?
Not to my recollection, sir.
Was there any other indication that people may have been there before or after?
I don't know if those footprints were theirs or not. So it's potential there was a 4th person there because there was footprints, but I could only assume that it was one of them because there's 3 of them.
Were there any don't include yourself in the RP, guys, please. Okay. And then what happened?
One of the individuals was on radio.
Mm-hmm.
At some point during the conversation with Echo when he was delivering the instructions for the book, one of the bodyguards stepped away and was on radio. He was too distant to hear what he was saying.
And what did they say? How did it go?
Do you want me to start from the beginning with the book or the meeting at the coastal dock?
Yeah, like, he said hello. I was pretty nervous. I then asked him, what am I doing here? And then he started telling me this thing. And then tell me a story. An accurate one, as best you can.
He said, Bobby Barnes, ex-member of the League of Shadows, which is an organization in various countries that I've been a part of. It's how I've got the skill of mimicry. This individual apparently knew of my past. And then he began to mention that he's heard of my feats in different countries with investigating individuals, with trailing people, and with unifying people in disguise. And so he told me to create this book with the intention of unifying people and then to meet those people. He didn't give me too much background on the individuals. Some of the names were familiar, but others weren't. Would you like me to continue?
Mm-hmm.
After receiving the instructions to meet at a coastal dock, 2 weeks later from that date, 2.5 weeks.
Well, I think we kind of skipped ahead, right? So you were told to make these books, right? You were given the diagrams, right?
Yes, correct.
So before the coastal thing, like, when did you make them?
When I returned from Liberty City, New York.
Okay, so this meeting happened
Likely,
before Liberty City, just for me understanding
correct.
the timeline. Okay.
Liberty City has no correlation as to what transpired here, by the way. That was
No, understandable. I know, I can imagine as much. Did you make the books? Then you made the books before you went on LOA or after you went on LOA?
It was after I went on LOA. I didn't have enough time to
Understood.
adhere to the request.
And how many days prior to, how many days prior to, the, the boat docks incident at the,
a week and a half to 2 weeks ago.
No, sorry, the books. Like, how many days prior?
Oh, how many days prior?
So you got back from vacation. Did you make the books right away? Yeah. And then 2 days later, you do this? Just as an example, like, what's the timeline?
No, it was a couple days that went by. It was, to be honest, I kind of forgot about it initially. But then I remembered, and so I made the copy to the best of my recollection. And then recently, being 2 days or 3 days ago when you saw me, I received a ping from the coastal docks. And given that Echo mentioned at LSIA that the location would be similar, I thought that's where I was supposed to meet. And then that's when I contacted, as I stated, the individuals that I listed on Echo's behalf.
Say that one more time, sorry.
I received an anonymous ping at the docks. And I inferred that was the location that I was to be.
Okay.
And so I went to that location. Prior to arriving at that location, I mentioned earlier that I was given instructions to reach out to individuals. I reached out to those individuals who were the people I told you about. There were 5 people.
Had the books been prepared prior to this?
The book was prepared prior to this.
Is it a book? Or are there more?
It was just a singular book.
Is that what they instructed you with 2 weeks prior? Make a book? Or did you just happen to make a book?
It was a singular book. It was to be secretive. It wasn't to be just like handed about.
Understood. Okay.
It was sensitive information is what Echo said.
Okay. And so, okay, now you get this ping at a dock and you arrive. Where exactly is this dock?
Exact coordinates, I'm not too sure, but it was just south of the lighthouse.
Is it the same dock that I found you later that day?
Correct.
Okay. And who is present there? Like, what number of individuals?
There were 4 individuals.
Was Echo present?
That was not including Echo. 5 in total, including Echo.
Did they have Class 2 firearms?
We're referring to me here, dressed as Echo, to do his task. I'm not saying Echo was there. I was Echo, in addition to 4 other people.
So you arrived there, and so this ping that you received, so you made the book. Just to make sure I understand, you made this book, and then you received a ping, and that's when you ran into Gunnar, Nora, Frank, Chris?
Correct. They all arrived there after me. I received the ping.
Okay.
And that's when they arrived, was shortly after that. I don't know exact time frame, maybe 15, 30 minutes.
Okay. So what happened after you received the ping? Did you just wait?
Well, part of the instructions, as I mentioned earlier, were to contact the group of individuals. These were the individuals that I named 2 days ago at the news center. You mentioned other individuals, but those weren't individuals that I contacted. Would you like the names?
Mm-hmm.
Frank Skinner, Nora Thomas, Gunnar Kane, Tony Tinkleman, and Chris Jones.
How did you contact them?
Via payphone.
And what did you tell them?
I told them to meet at the coastal docks. And to be honest, I didn't have the best description of where that location was when I first arrived because it was kind of unknown to me. I don't usually wander off to the coast of the island.
Why is he
And
lying
so I just
so
tried to
much?
describe the location of the ping to the best of their
We already
abilities,
know
which is
what
probably
happened
why I
from
was
Hobbler and Frank.
waiting there for so long, you know, because they were trying to find it. But the call was just to inform them to arrive at the location. It seemed like they were already familiar with what was going on.
So you told them to go to those coastal docks.
Correct. Probably hearable in the earlier portion of this recording. I mentioned that Echo told me to contact a group of individuals. And that was the first step in this, I guess, well, not first, like second step. It's after creating the book, but second to arriving at the docks, if that makes sense.
How did you know to bring the book there?
He told me at LSIA to bring it to that location.
Before you got pinged to the coastal docks, how much prior to that did you meet him at LSIA?
That was the 2.5 weeks I mentioned. It was right before my LOA at some point.
So 2 weeks prior, he told you to do all these things?
Correct. But I
How did
knew
you know
he
that
was,
ping was the time?
there were individuals who would approach me. I couldn't really describe how they looked. They kind of just looked like normal individuals.
When?
This is when I made the book, about a week and a half ago. Individuals after I created the book, likely spying on me. There was an individual outside of the
Bobby,
Yes, sir.
why you're lying so much that your story makes zero sense, and some of the most obvious, like, look, brother, you're looking at one of the best interrogators in the fucking city, and you're still lying. You want me to believe that 2.5 weeks, before you went on vacation, you were given all these instructions and you got a random ping? You arrive at that ping and you just happen to know to bring this fucking book there? What?
I was in the process of describing how I knew to bring the book there, sir.
How did you know to bring the book there? Give me just a straight answer to this.
As I wrote in my statement, after I created the book, I was approached by suspicious individuals telling me that I would receive an anonymous tip off the coast. And they only said, bring the book after that. Each time.
How did they look like? How did they just found you making the book?
There's one individual that kind of looked like the bodyguard from LSIA. This time, no weaponry in hand, likely didn't want to raise suspicion in public. The other individual was masked with a bag, wearing all black. And another individual was wearing like a purple and colored scarf, a white t-shirt, and I don't really remember the rest, but their face was recognizable. It was kind of like a slim, pale face.
So what you're saying is you came back from vacation and you remembered to go make the book, right?
Correct.
And so you went to go make the book and these people just showed up?
These people were aware of where I was going, yes.
So you believe they were following you?
I cannot confirm if they were following me because I want to be truthful, but I was likely seen. I have no idea as to how they would know I was there.
Did these three individuals describe them again?
One of the individuals looked like the bodyguard from LSIA to Echo. And they told me that I'd receive an anonymous tip somewhere along the coast. And then ended it with bring the book. Like the rest of the individuals, the second individual was dressed in all black with a bag over his face. And then the third individual was wearing a purple scarf with a white shirt, and his face was kind of pale, but I don't have any other noticeable, like, details.
Give me 1 second. Just pulling up your statement one more time. I just closed the window. Bobby, could you link me that document one more time? Can't find the access.
Yes. There you go, sir.
Could you give Chris a copy?
I have it pulled up.
How do I take this report and put it into something else? Okay, I see what's going on here. All right, hang tight. Bro, this is even more sus. You can't even make a copy of this report.
If you look down towards the end, one of the last
Yeah, give me
sentences.
give me 1 second. Let me just for sake of clarity, let me look at this real quick.
No worries, sir.
Bro, I can't even like copy this into our thing near the beginning of this unsettling. This is so confusing. It's so much like, the thing is, like, some of this is already known. I'm so confused. Unlikely to participate in person. Oh, instead. Wait. Receives. Deliver a book to a dock just off the coast of the lighthouse. Wants to plant the book and lead the individual. Bobby was told the individuals who were contacted are likely participant in person and will instead wear disguises. Of the 5, Billy Carl's Ram. See, this is what he originally told me. This is why I'm getting so confused. Is like Ram, Marla, Thaddeus, David Wright. Bobby Barnes is unaware of whether any other meetings transpired with the above individuals. And Echo before meeting the... It's not even that it's convoluted. Like, he made the phone call so he knows who he called. Why does your document here, I take it Bill Carl's, Dimitri, Marla, all these names, these are, I presume,
If you're speaking of the
yeah, these code names
mentioned,
you don't have in here written the names of, you know, why don't you mention Gunnar, Kane,
I couldn't
Nora,
accurately
Frank?
identify who the individuals like truly were when they arrived. And I wanted to make it as accurate as possible, so I didn't.
But you mentioned previously you called them.
Correct. The only reason I
Where's
mentioned
that
that
in
I
here?
called them was because the numbers that were given were associated with these code names, and I do not recall the the direct connection between the phone number and the code name, but these were the code names.
So when
and
you
these are the
called Frank,
individuals I
you
were
didn't know
contacting.
you were calling Frank?
Well, I could tell after the fact because I was double checking the phone numbers that were given versus what was in my contact list.
But why isn't that in this written report?
Double checking the names in my contact list didn't seem like something worth writing.
No, but like you mentioned during this thing that Gunnar, Nora, Frank, Chris Jones, Tony Tinkleman, you had called them via payphone. Is that correct?
That is correct.
But you're saying it. Any reason why you didn't put that in the report? Just did you forget?
I just guess I forgot to put it in the
Okay.
report. I was, you know,
Okay.
kind of in the zone writing, and sometimes
I got you. I understand. I'm just trying to get clarity because it references all these like code names, but then when it comes to like the actual names, they're just not in the report, which is why I'm asking. Okay.
Correct, sir. I think it was just like lapse of, you know, when you're writing something and you're a little bit cooked, you sometimes forget the nitty gritty, especially after it's been like 20 days. But the names I mentioned were people that were contacted, at least based off correlation of the numbers given versus what was in my contact list.
So you're telling me you never met Blacked Out with other individuals from the marshal's office prior to this?
No, sir. The only time I met was on the coastal docks.
Okay. Would it surprise you that we know already?
Know of what, sir?
That you did meet with 3 other individuals Blacked Out?
It would surprise me because I didn't.
Okay. 'Cause we have the date as well.
I'm not great with dates, so.
Give me a second. Let me pull it up. I'm going to actually make it. I mean, look, you're claiming you don't remember being blacked out with other individuals.
No, sir. Only the coastal docks.
I got you. Does a you don't remember a pier in Vinewood?
No, sir.
You don't remember a pickup truck?
No, sir.
You don't remember various letters being written anywhere?
No, sir. News to me.
Okay. You don't remember happening to... Okay, well, I'm not going to give that up. Okay. Here's kind of my concern here, Bobby. I outside of see, now I'm kind of at a bit of a outside of here's the problem, Bobby. There's a lot more information that's come forward than just what you've told me, and your story doesn't really match up. And you know, I think some of the marshals value their job more than you do. And I don't know why you're doing this, if I'm going to be rather frank. The thing is, those stories match up with transaction logs, phone logs, etc. And unless you like magically forgot what you were doing on a certain day, you're just leaving things out. And this is notwithstanding the fact that even to get to this point, this honesty, it took me multiple attempts to get the truth out of you. This is a matter that is questionably treason, and if not treason, at minimum breaking the oath that you should have sworn into SASM. I don't know why you're doing it. Even if we were to ignore just the lying and the and some of your friends pretty much outing you, which honestly, it's not a friendship thing. They're doing the right thing because friendship cannot be put above the oath to the state. I don't know what you're being told, man. Got Governor Kane running around ranting about me as an example while sucking Edgar's dick. You know, he's outside the apartments right now.
Sir.
Yeah. Wait outside, Hubler. Hubler, you mind waiting outside? It's put me in a very shitty position because you're a good guy. But for some reason, when I open up that book, right? And then I know that, you know, we have potential ex and current marshals potentially involved with, you know, handling class 2s, dealing with somebody that's, you know, effectively making like fake marshals outside of the marshals and marshals operating with them. And I read the contents of this book. It's fucking fantasy. It's a problem. None of this was reported. What am I supposed to do? Number one, how am I supposed to believe you?
I understand none of it was reported, sir. But you have to understand the position that I found myself to be in.
I don't understand it, no.
Being threatened against my will by individuals who have recited things that I've done in the past as justification. And then anonymous
Did you value yourself or did you value the state and civilians?
This matter could have been connected to the state, sir. It was for everybody's safety, including the people in which I contacted, some of which I do not know deeply.
This book is talking about taking an oath, and you're calling civilians to fight the faceless and giving them that reading material. The faceless are bad people. But
if you read it in my sorry, sir, I don't mean to cut you off.
Encouraging civilians in this manner can get them killed. Now, if you weren't law enforcement, that'd be one thing. This is vigilantism. So I ask again, Bobby.
Is it still vigilantism if I don't intend to act on it and eventually report, but I am being threatened along with other individuals to the point where I can't?
What if Mr. Tinkleman? What if Mr. Tinkleman went and said, "You know what? Fuck yeah," and took a gun and tried to shoot some faceless asset?
It'd be against the law.
And who would have encouraged it with this book?
Echo.
You gave the book to him. You were planning to give this book to him. Had we not stopped you?
Those were the directions that I received, sir.
Okay, so I ask again, and you followed those directions because you were worried about your own life. Right?
The city could also, too, might be in danger.
The what?
The city could also potentially be in danger.
The city is in danger by the fucking faceless and a bunch of other threats.
If I were not to act on that, not only would it be my life on the line, but other people that I could connect to. I thought my decision was noble to do this, even though my life was on the line.
What do you mean noble? How is this noble?
Taking away the attention to myself versus these people going out on the streets and potentially murdering people and threatening them in a similar fashion. I feel like that's noble, sir.
No, it's not. Wait, did you want to do it? Now I'm confused. Did you want to follow what Echo said with this book? Or did he force you to do it? Because that didn't sound like
at the dock. I mentally thought that there was an opportunity to uncover information here that could be useful to the marshal. But before then, yes, sir, I was scared shitless.
You were scared shitless. Okay, I get it. You didn't report it. You wanted to find something. I can see that. But then you received the book that you printed. And this material is, and then you called civilians and we're going to give him this reading material in which it's swearing an oath, has militaristic insignia on it, and is encouraging vigilantism to civilians as a marshal. You're a marshal still. It's vigilantism. Now, if you weren't a marshal, that's one thing, right? But you're going to people that may not be able to defend themselves, nor understand what the ramifications are, and you're saying, go do this. As a marshal, you are authorizing it. We have a reason we can deputize. I mean, you, and especially, you know, do you believe in this material?
I believe it's going to take a lot of convincing to whoever Echo is to get these people on board. I don't believe in this bullshit. No, I'd rather protect the individuals, which is why I followed through with this. Not only did it save my life, but it could potentially save other people's. It's like the train scenario. You got two people on one side and an entire city on the damn other. That's why I think it was noble, despite the oath, despite what it mentioned.
Bobby, that's our job. That's literally our job.
That's literally our job. Yeah. If I went and gave someone a class 2 fire, because let's say they live in Little Seoul, right? And the besties are there, right? And because they're one of the most notorious gangs in the city, or like the Hydra Sack, and you know they live next door to, you know, Hydra, or they live next door to the besties, and they're in the middle of all these shootouts. Is it noble to go give them a gun and say, go, you know, we should stand arms against these people? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Okay, so how is this different?
It doesn't scale to that. There was no weaponry. It was a book.
Do you know what are you do you know what entrapment is?
When somebody basically sets somebody up for failure and convinces them to do something like knowingly
Like
of what is
illegal?
to come. Exactly.
Okay. Let me just. So you gave them a book that says Militas Sancti. Do you know what that means?
No, sir. I only knew what the title meant, which was I think like Holy Soldier.
Okay. Holy Soldier.
Well,
Do you know
an
who
internet
calls
browser is
themselves a
lying to-
paladin?
no, sir.
Gunnar Kane. Do you know how I know this?
No, sir.
Because when we investigated who shot him a couple days ago, they were calling him as such. So, you know it means holy soldier. Is that correct?
The title, yes.
Okay. You remember the insignia with the American flag with, mind you, we're not in America. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I'm aware of this. I was just
Okay.
doing what was requested.
And there's a salute, right? And it says, to the awakened, you have been observed, not by the eyes that linger without a face in the shadows, but by those who guard against them. In this age where truth is buried beneath deception, and the faceless weave their influence through every corner of the state, Sanctum stands resolute. But one light alone cannot hold back the dark. It is time to seek more, to awaken others who still see through the fog. To seek those with conviction, who fight without recognition, protect without praise, and hold the line when others break. Accepting this seal is swearing an oath to guard against these hidden threats in the shadows, even in the face of certain death. It is pledging your oath to sanctum. Your oath to sanctum. And those that fight against the faceless. If you accept this seal, guard it with your life, with the others. Move forward with vigilance and a bunch of other dumb shit. Well, when shadows fail, sanctum stands. Do you know that this material is can be seen as treasonous? That this document is is making very clear inferences to militarily stand up without any state oversight, without any government oversight.
I could see the connection, sir.
And this was about to be handed to civilians. Like this is beyond gross negligence, brother. And I don't genuinely believe that you did this. Like,
So I should have been killed, is what you're saying, instead of doing this.
that you should have been killed.
I should have disobeyed Echo's orders and died instead of doing.
I should have disobeyed Echo's orders. No, you go to your superiors in whatever your, these. Bobby, you've spent probably 3 hours of my 2 weeks telling me that you're the best at disguising yourself, going undercover. You were asking me literally the night before this happened, in a truck with Crane there, right? Remember you said, oh yeah, he's up on the thing. Does he want to come down? Came into your truck. You wanted to talk. You were talking about how good you are at going undercover. And you're asking to go undercover on the Faceless, and that I don't know how good of UC work you do. And you want to go fucking undercover with the damn Faceless. And I'm like, well, slow your damn roll there, Bobby. Because that's what's going to get you killed. So you had the energy then there, and now you want me to believe all of a sudden you were so scared for your fucking life that you didn't, I don't know, use one of these, like, these, all this international fucking disguise guy, hide and say, ping me or call me on a fucking payphone and say, Brian, I'm in trouble. Here's what's happening. What do I do? Chris, I'm in trouble. What's happening? What do I do? Anything. That these guys, based on your own description, is actually way more powerful than the Faceless, because you're willing to go undercover with them. But so much more powerful that you want me to believe that you're scared for your life. Is that accurate? What am I missing here?
How many times a day have you been randomly approached by 3 individuals that don't share a name and deliver specific instructions and tell you that you're being watched?
A lot, actually.
You see, you may have much more experience in this line of work than I do.
Okay, so you're lying about being able to being so good that you can infiltrate the Faceless? Were you lying then?
What do you mean, sir?
Well, you wanted to infiltrate the Faceless with your disguises, and I had to convince you, no, you're going to, if you really want to do this, you're going to do, like, maybe talk to their low-level people, and you're super excited about it. Where was the fear then?
The fear wasn't about that situation, sir. It was about Echo and his guards pursuing me.
You know who the Faceless are, right?
I know that one of them is that picture you showed me of that guy from, like, the Blue Man Group.
Did Gunnar ever talk about the Faceless to you?
He mentioned the name, but there wasn't anything like
What about the reports?
particular about it.
You didn't read any of the reports?
The only, like, main report that I looked into was a report. I don't know if it was something Blackwood, some type of, like, financier. It was, like, about, like, a mission or something.
Have you read any of the City Chronicle?
Hold on, Chris. Sorry, you're telling me you don't know anything about the Faceless outside of what you just described, these minor things.
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Bobby, do you know that it is your duty to let your what's your rank?
Deputy Marshal, sir.
Okay. Did you used to do this kind of stuff under Gunner's reign?
What do you mean, this kind of stuff?
You know, just having people approach you and handing out reading material like this. Anything along these lines.
No, sir, that was not a part of the job, no.
You asked me a question. Did you want me to die? Do you recognize that you could have fucked Frank over? You could have fucked Nora over? You could have fucked Gunner over? You could have fucked all these people over by your actions? And put them in danger? Do you recognize that? At least show me that you have some understanding of this.
They were threatened as well as myself, which is why I make the train situation. I've expressed this before. I'd rather have less people be victim and the entire rest of the city be innocent and not victimized. I understand that what I did might have been threatening to certain individuals, but doing so kept them out of potential harm's way.
How?
Nothing is for certain, but the threats were real. These individuals did have weaponry, which leads me to believe that they have connections with other individuals. They have people roaming the streets, spying.
Hold on. So, how were they threatened?
As I mentioned, Echo at LSIA threatened my own life as well as these other individuals if I were not to do this.
So they were at LSIA as well?
No, they were threatened. You can be threatened from afar.
How do you know they were threatened?
He specifically said that the individuals to be contacted would be dealt with if anything got out.
Do you know about Frank and Nora being held up a couple weeks back where they were interviewing who's Michael's son? Helios? Do you know about that?
I had no idea. The only time I've really spoke to Frank and Nora was like a month and a half ago plus about a city chronicle on New Babylon. And that was up at the auditorium, I believe. But I had no idea about what you just said.
You mentioned the train problem. Am I understanding that the point is that they may be put at risk, but putting them at risk is a lesser threat than the entire state being put at risk?
That is correct, as my duty is to the state.
So if they died, it's worth it. If it saves everyone else?
My mindset and morals lead me to believe that saving a greater number is always the answer. Even if it's people that I've spoken to.
May I search your person?
Yes.
All right. Interesting. All right. Recording ends at 12:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get this guy out of my office. You're fired.